Hello, Kelsey Taylor here. Now this evening I'm going to be doing a video that's long overdue, and you can thank COVID for this. I'm going to be talking about movies that I've seen in 2020. Now, I'm sure many of you movie fans know about this. There were a bunch of movies that were supposed to come out last year, but they have been delayed to this year or into 2022 or another couple of years from now. So, yeah, 2020 was like the weakest year for film because not that much stuff came out. But there's some films that were lucky enough they got a theatrical release or went to streaming. And I have done these videos in the past talking about my favorite movies per year, kind of like a top list form. But I decided to do something a bit different, probably for future videos of this kind, where I talk about my favorite movies of the year. I want to talk about like some of the films that I have seen in a specific year, like in 2020, because I felt like I really want to do a video talking about like certain films of that year, even though, like I said, not a lot of stuff had come out. But I felt like I want to like talk about certain stuff. Now, I'm going to go through a list I have here on my phone of what movies that came out, mainly here in the United States in 2020, and tell you my thoughts on each of them, just briefly. I'm not going to be doing full reviews of them. And I'll talk about my 5 favorite movies of 2020. Even if a lot of them aren't that great, those are the ones I kind of like the best. So let's get on with the list and see what I can find here. And alright, the first one that came out in January, the one I watched on Paramount Plus, is Like a Boss, and this is the R-rated comedy film starring Tiffany Haddish and Rose Byrne, or however, I heard her last name both ways differently. And that movie, I don't know, like, it's one of those forgettable, stupid comedies. Like, I consider this almost, I think, not one of the worst movies, but meh. Like, I really don't know how to describe it. And another one. Now, there's some that I still have not seen, so there may be some films that you want me to talk about, really, but it's because I probably have not seen them. It's probably because I won't be talking about those. Now, this one is probably, I think, the most disappointing and probably like the worst film of 2020. Like, I think top worst is Doolittle. Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doolittle should have been that bad, but that movie, and I did a whole review of it when I rented the DVD months ago. I mean, it was, I don't know. Many of you know how much that one sucked. That's all I can say. And so we're going through the January list to see here. Hope I didn't miss any. And this movie is a huge surprise for a lot of people. And I didn't want to watch this movie because you know how originally the character was supposed to look, and then the fans complained, and then they changed him to a much better look. And then I watched the movie on another one I watched on Hulu, and it was very surprisingly good. Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and I'm looking forward to see what the sequel has to offer. I mean, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and I never played a lot of the Sonic games, but that movie was fun. I like the character Sonic, and Jim Carrey was funny as Dr. Eggman, or whoever it's supposed to be. I mean, I really enjoyed that movie a lot, surprisingly. Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm sure a lot of people did as well. And what's next? And this one was kind of like I don't know, another one I don't know how to describe. It's kind of one of those crazy movies that I wish I would have loved, but I didn't necessarily loved it. But for one time watch, and it's Daniel Radcliffe in Guns Akimbo. This is where Daniel Radcliffe had to have these guns like screwed onto his hands, kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a really crazy movie. I watched it on Amazon Prime, and this next movie, I remember I was supposed to go see in the theaters the week everything closed down to the pandemic, and I had to wait until a year and a half to finally watch it. Is the Pixar film Onward. I think this is probably the best Pixar film of that year. I really like that one a lot. Onward. This one, this is a Netflix film. I really want to enjoy this, but I don't know. It seems that whenever these movies are not based on true story, it's not going to be anything that great. It's Spencer Confidential with Mark Wahlberg and Winston Duke, who I believe was in Black Panther. I mean, that movie should have been a lot of fun, but they made some weird music choices in some scenes, and Mark Wahlberg and Wissenduke had no chemistry whatsoever, and it was very disappointing. So that was like, I think, one of the worst of 2020, unfortunately. What's next? Let's go through. Yeah, there's a lot of movies I did not watch. I was trying to watch as much as I can leading up to this video. This one is not the worst movie. It's kind of like okay, but I couldn't get into these movies that much. Trolls World Tour. Now I do like the idea, like the concept of the sequel, with the worlds being different kinds of genre of music. I thought that was the most interesting part. The first Trolls, for a kids movie, they're both kids movies. I'm not really big into Trolls, but it's like cute, colorful, fun movies. But even some people have some problem with the sequel, Trolls World Tour, with the decisions that Poppy makes, and especially like the last 30 to 25 minutes. I don't want to say if you have not seen it, but it's kind of like, ugh, like a downer, like very depressing, and I don't know. Trolls World Tour, I don't hate it. It's not a favorite of mine. And should be scrolling through these faster so I can get this video done faster. Hope I didn't miss any. And this one I rented. I remember I rented $20 to rent when this premiered on, or you should say on demand, but I rented it to watch it on YouTube. Is Scoob, one of the films that was supposed to come out in theaters, but same thing with Trolls World Tour. It was supposed to come out in theaters, and then it was released on digitally. And Scoob, like, I think it's like a fun movie. I did a review of that a long time ago when it first came out, and it's definitely a decent watch if you're a fan of Scooby-Doo, but not to the classic Scooby-Doo feel. Now this one, another one that was supposed to come out in theaters, but instead of premiering on Netflix, is Beloved Birds, and it has this actor which I cannot pronounce his name for some reason, but you can recognize him from Stuber and The Big Sick, which was a pretty good movie. I watched this film and I had no idea what was going to be about. It was much different from what I thought. I didn't look at any trailers for it or anything. I would say that's like a decent watch. It's like worth watching on Netflix, but Lovebirds it's nothing special. So it's not one of the worst either. So that's all I can say. And we're going into the Kevin Bacon film, horror film. You Should Have Left. Kevin Bacon did like a decent job in it, but I was like, if you like these kind of like, and this is from Blumhouse Productions, so if you like these low budget, I don't know if it's low budget, kind of like if you like really not crazy out there thrill movies, you might get into this. You Should Have Left. It's worth watching. Not my kind of movie. I don't know. Maybe it's because I like Kevin Bacon. I just want to watch that. But I don't know. I'm more of a fan of Get Out. If I'm not a fan of these kind of thrill films, Get Out is one of my favorites of that kind. You Should Have Left is watchable though. I watched it on Peacock. So, and this one, this is the comedy starring Steve Carell. Another one I reviewed is Irresistible, and the one that Jon Stewart directed is kind of like a political comedy, and I didn't find that one to be very funny. I mean, that's like one of my least favorite films of 2020. I don't know why. I just maybe very political people might find that film funny, but I didn't find that film funny at all. Going through the halfway through here. The Tax Collector, starring Shia LaBeouf. That's another one that, like, if you're really into these kind of, like, I don't know how to describe it, like a gangster type kind of movie. It's another one that wasn't really my cup of tea. And I don't want to get into the controversy with Shia LaBeouf about that. He played like a specific character of a certain race or whatnot. I don't want to get into that. But like, it's just like one of those films if you're really into that kind of stuff. Like, it's not horrible, just not my thing. Now we're going to that. Now this one a lot of people hated. For some reason I liked it, not as much as the anime version, but the live action Mulan I thought was pretty cool for the most part. I kind of I kind of dug that one. There's some changes I don't agree with, but for live action Disney remake Mulan, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, I kind of liked it, kind of did, to tell you the truth. There's another one I did a review on like a while back. If you want to take a look at my movie reviews, check out the movie review playlist on my channel. It has a lot of the movie related stuff I talk about. Even this video is going to be in this playlist. I think I skipped over one. How come I skipped over one? There's another one. I think this one that came out in September. I don't know why. I don't know if it's on the list or what. Maybe it came out in October. Jesus Christ. You're pretty good at paying attention to a lot of stuff. Now this one I actually had to watch it 2 times. Is Hubie Halloween, the Netflix film starring Adam Sandler. When I first watched this movie, I wasn't it was kind of funny, but I didn't like the ending. I don't want to say it if you haven't seen it, but I thought the ending was kind of like disappointing. And then I gave the film a second chance just recently. I liked it a little bit more. It's not one of the best Adam Sandler comedies, but for a Halloween movie, it's a very silly, entertaining film, I guess. Worth it for streaming. Now this one, I thought this one came out in September. This is like the first film I watched since the theaters opened up like last fall or last summer, whenever, sometime last year. And this was the first film I saw coming back to the theater for the first time in months at this point. It's The War with Grandpa, and it stars Robert De Niro. And I don't know if any of you have seen this movie. It's about this kid whose grandpa, played by Robert De Niro, decides to move in with him, but he ends up taking his room, and the boy ends up having to move upstairs in the attic in this house. And so he and Robert De Niro are in this battle, just basically for this boy trying to get his old room back. It's kind of like I don't know if I would call it. I don't remember what it was rated. It was probably PG or PG-13. I don't remember, but it's kind of like one of those watchable films. Kind of like if you like a really fun, silly comedy. It's definitely, and I remember it's got Cheech Marin and Christopher Walken. That one I surprisingly liked. Not the greatest, but it was decent. I thought it was pretty decent and a bit funny. And this one stars Dylan O'Brien, and there's tons of films I watched later on streaming. This is one of those ones. Is Love and Monsters. It was like another decent watch. Another one I didn't know much about before going into it. It's about Dylan O'Brien going on this journey looking for his lost girlfriend, and there's these monsters that have been taking over the planet and whatnot. It's definitely a pretty decent one to watch. Another one it was fine, I guess. It's just like fine. It's got Liam Neeson, called Honest Thief, and one I watched on Amazon Prime, and it's got Robert Patrick in it, and it's like, I don't know how to, it's like another one of those shit, I clicked on something by accident. It's like one of those like kind of like low budget action films with Liam Neeson. Not as good as Taken, but it's a decent watch. Honest Thief. It's not one of the worst films or whatnot. Sorry, I accidentally clicked on something, and now I have to get back to the page though. When it comes to Liam Neeson action movies, like some of them could be hit and miss. Like Taken, I know a lot of people like, but I think my favorite one he's done that a lot of people don't talk about as much is Walk Among the Tombstones. I think that's my favorite Liam Neeson action movie. Now, okay, let's try not to lose track. Now I'm on the right page. Haven't seen those. No. The Craft Legacy. Now, I haven't seen the first Craft up until just last week when I was preparing to make this list, because I didn't see a lot of films in 2020 up at that point. Like a handful of films to make a video. And I watched the first Craft, and it's about these teenagers like practicing witchcraft, something like that. That was kind of like, the first one was kind of like decent and crazy. The second one, the reason why I want to watch it was because David Duchovny was in it, because I just started watching The X-Files, and I want to see more stuff that he was in. And this was his first film he's done in like a long time, because he hasn't done that many movies recently. And The Craft Legacy is like a mixed bag. I mean, there's some parts that are like okay, and there's some stuff that's like, especially the ending, which I'm like, seriously, I don't know. It's like in one of those, I mean, it was released only on demand. Like I watched it on the on Amazon Prime, where I had the stars thing added in. So if you like the first Craft, like if you're a huge fan of the first Craft and you think the sequel's going to be as good, don't. It's not. It's like, yeah, I don't know. First Craft is more worth seeing, even though it. I mean, I don't know which movie I like better. Maybe the first Craft, because the second Craft, there's some scenes in it, like I said, are like, no, no. But it's not the worst movie. So. This one, I think, is another truly one of the worst films of the year. I really think, if I said Special Confidential was the worst, I take it back. This is the #1 worst. Jiu-Jitsu is a martial arts film with Nicolas Cage, another one I reviewed. That movie was such a mess. I mean, it was shot terribly, edited terribly, some of it was acted terribly. It sucked. God. And this one was surprisingly good. Is The Croods: A New Age. This is a sequel to the first Croods movie. And it's been a long time since I watched the Croods movie. In fact, I have both of them, and I gotta review them at some point. But the sequel to the Croods, I really enjoy that one. I think it's like, I think the last movie that Cloris Leachman did right before her passing. So the Croods 2 is definitely worth watching. Now, there's some films I passed by, but I've only seen like only seconds of it, so I can't really talk about them in this video, so I just passed them. And I got a few more left to talk about. Monster Hunter is another one I just, for shits and giggles, decided to watch. Another one on streaming, and I never played the video game, so I don't know if it's is it connected too much to the video game or whatnot. Is this more like the game or whatnot? It's kind of like and Toho, the company that made those Godzilla movies, produced this film. So if you like really, it's another like decent one watch. It's like, it's almost not great but not horrible either. It's like okay. I mean, if you like really like monster films where there's some certain like monsters, mostly like, I think were mostly practical effects. I don't remember any of them being all CG. I think there were some that were CG, but if you like these kind of like movies like that, like Causing Havoc, you may like that. But let me know what you think of Monster Hunter if you ever played the game, because I never even heard of it before this movie came out. Now this one's not the worst. Another one I did a review on, but it could have been much better. It's Wonder Woman 1984. I think this is like my #1, next to Special Confidential. Another one of those disappointments of 2020. It should have been much better. Then, Now this one, Soul, is not one of my favorite Pixar movies. I think Onward's a better film, like I said, but Soul is a very decent film. It was much different from what I thought it was gonna be. Another one that I was kind of disappointed in, but yeah, another one I did a review on. Like, Soul's not bad. It's watchable. To me, I think Onward's a better film. And the last movie, another one, is with Tom Hanks, and it's not one of the ones that were released on Apple TV. It's the one that came out in theaters, and I watched it on DVD. Another one I did a review on is News of the World. That movie was brilliant. I mean, I think this is one of Tom Hanks' best films in a long time, and definitely one you guys should definitely see. So, that's all the movies I saw in 2020. I hope to see more of those films down the line, even though at the time of recording this video I probably have not seen those movies yet. But I'm going to be going through my top 5 movies, like my favorite ones, just 5 of them. Number 5 is Mulan. Number 4 is Onward. Number 3 is News of the World. Number 2 is The Croods: A New Age. And number 1 is Sonic the Hedgehog. So that's my top 5 favorite movies, just briefly, in 2020 I've seen. And that's my video talking about the films I've seen in 2020. So let me know what you think of this list, and what is your favorite movie of 2020? Like, what it could be. It could be something you saw in theaters or you watched on streaming, because, you know, Hollywood has to find a way to bring out movies every year. And nowadays with this technology and streaming and all that, it's much easier, but I think our favorite thing about watching movies is in the theater, like certain ones. And let's hope it doesn't go away anytime soon. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Adios!